It is my opportunity now to talk about using ChatGPT as an architectural visualization artist. So earlier I said, keep in mind, think about if you've ever done this or if you would actually do this if the tools were available for you. But the goal is to use ChatGPT to produce a high quality visualization of a company's building on a raw piece of land. Um, and so what you have is an industrial park or a piece of land, an aerial shot that you really want to say, you don't want to just draw it with a red square and say, here's your building. Actually put their building on that to give them a visualization. What you're going to need is a paid ChatGPT account, a picture of the company's logo, and a picture of the land you're promoting. And then you'll see in this engineered prompt I've done the size and type of the building they're seeking. And this is a complicated one, but I went out, so got the picture, just pulled this off of a random, website of a random piece of land. I chose Tyson Foods, and I said they're doing a 300,000 square foot. You know what? I should have done one of our current projects just to make it fun, but a 300,000 square foot facility, and they needed cold storage. So the time and cost problem that everybody runs against is you want to personalize the RFIs with actual visualizations of the company's buildings located on a site to really help gain their buy-in and make them more tied to your submission. But there's no way you have the time or the money to do this for each project. It's a very high effort, low leverage type of project that would break a lot of budgets. Well, before I show that, has anybody done these? Just throw in the chat if you've ever put together a rendition of their building on the site when you send in a RFI. I'm interested to see who has. If you haven't, just say no way, I don't care. I'm trying to get a cost from you guys. I did a national search here of what those costs would be, that if you wanted to do that, but more importantly, the time it would take. If we don't get any, that's fine. But if you were out to get a basic concept, it would be $1,000 to $3,000. It'd take 2 to 5 days. If you want a high quality marketing rendering, it'd be $35,000 to $8,000, 1 to 2 weeks for them to do the research, do the architectural skinning of the buildings, those types of things. Do a Fortune 500 board presentation, which I created this prompt to deliver that. It would be $8,000 to $20,000, 2 to 4 weeks. If you want to put this in Hollywood, special effects level photorealism, you're talking $20,000 to $75,000 and probably 1 to 3 months. So how AI enhances this project: if you were not using it, you'd have to hire the professional, wait 3 weeks on average, pay $5,000 to $10,000 per rendering. After AI, you're going to take that screenshot, that logo. It's going to take you 3 to 5 minutes to put this together, and that is going to make a huge difference in your RFI. So buckle up. This is a long one, guys. And like I said, if you are an Elite Cities member, you have direct access in the portal under that Jam Academy. You click on it. In the YouTube description is this full prompt that you can simply cut and paste. And better yet, my Econ Squad, I've got these employees or squad employees that will do this with one click. But here we go. So as always, on an engineer prompt, I say you got to set the scene. You're an internationally recognized architectural visualization artist, Fortune 500 corporate campus designer, industrial site planner, commercial real estate developer, and corporate site selection consultant. Your work is distinguishable from professional architectural renderings used in board meetings, investor presentations, and economic development recruitment campaigns. I have uploaded 2 images, a photograph of the undeveloped property, the official logo of X. That's where you'd insert the company. After you set the scene for ChatGPT, you've got to tell it what to execute. I'm not going to read all these. I'll read a portion of it because there's a lot here, guys. So what to execute? Your task is to transform the undeveloped property into a photorealistic vision of what this site could look like if, in my case, Tyson Foods selected it for the next facility. Research first before designing, research, and consider the company's all of those characteristics: industry, typical building architecture, campus layout, all those things. Advanced in continuing on what to execute, design a facility that authentically reflects how Tyson actually develops its location rather than creating a generic industrial building. Preserve the existing site. You don't want it to change the image, because then all of a sudden things don't appear right and it doesn't look like the original. And I'll show you in the final product how it maintains some of the cool stuff that the picture has. So maintain camera angles, existing roads, utilities, lighting, direction, all of those things. The finished result should appear as though the building has actually been constructed on this exact property. Then we talk about building design, construct a realistic, this is where we put in a 300,000 square foot cold storage facility that fits naturally on the site. The building should feature all of these things: truck courts, visitor entrance, rooftops, outdoor employee spaces, all of the things that would be in a typical architectural rendering. Everything should be accurately scaled to the available land. That's important. If you didn't tell it that, you might get this massive building that's not in correct perspective. Then we go into branding. Use the uploaded company logo professionally. Include it only where a real company would place branding, such as main building facade, primary entrance, monument entrance sign. The logo should appear authentic, properly sized, and integrated into the architecture, not as an oversized advertisement. Site improvements include realistic site development appropriate for the company, such as, this is where we talk about planting trees, putting in a guard shack, lighting, visitor parking, sidewalks, security fencing, flagpoles, stormwater detention. That was a big one on one of our projects that they needed to make sure they included. ADA parking, landscaping, all the things that need to be included to keep it realistic. Realistic activity. Populate the scene naturally with employees arriving, cars, delivery trucks, semi-trucks, visitors, landscape crews. Everything should appear natural and believable. Lighting and realism. So coming up on the end of this prompt of telling it how and what to execute: match shadows, reflections, weather, sky, lighting, colors, depth. This is where you could be creative and say change it to a night scene, or you could say change it to a morning scene, or whatever type of scene you'd want to change, but it would still keep the integrity of all the original photograph. The final image should look like a high-resolution professional photograph, not AI-generated artwork. And then before generating the rendering, perform one additional step. I want it to go out and study the company's existing facilities around the world and identify reoccurring architectural themes, construction materials, landscape and parking layouts, all of those things that they could say, hey, that's like our facility elsewhere, and get a real feel for it. And then you tell the final output. So you've set the scene, you told what to execute. Here's the final output. The rendering should be suitable for a Fortune 500 board presentation, economic development marketing, investor presentations, community visioning meetings, corporate recruitment materials, commercial real estate brochures. The image should make the viewer pause and ask, wait, has this facility already been built? The visualization should be so realistic that it convincingly depicts what this property would look like if Tyson had already invested into the community. So I took those pictures, I cut and pasted that prompt, I put it into ChatGPT, and it took, I'm going to say, I'll give it a fair 5 minutes. I would think it's more than the 3 minutes, and it produced this facility on that piece of land. So put in the land, put in the facades, put in everything that you wanted to be able to say, hey, envision your next Tyson cold storage facility on our piece of land. And what really blew me away is when I zoomed in, I started taking a look at the marquees, the signs, the retention ponds, everything that you could think of. It included even the trucks and deliveries going in and out of the facility. So very, very impressive. In fact, I said, I want to make that entrance a little fancier. And I just said, clean up that entrance, and added some flags and a bigger signage in front. And really does some amazing things, guys. Would not be able to do that for projects, but you can. And all you have to do is basically go in and cut and paste that prompt. You don't have to rewrite it. You don't have to think about it. Fill in the gaps, fill in the words, and you'll get your own rendering. And what you just accomplished in 10 minutes is what I always preach. Less work, more impact on the things you guys were hired to do. You weren't sit there to do these drawings. You're hired to sit there and present those to companies and help close deals. So hopefully you can leverage AI to do those things. So enjoy. I hope that is helpful. Put it to test, send me your results, and would love to work with you on one of the submissions for our projects.